How's it going, everybody? This is Travis Platt Reviews, and today I wanted to take a look at one of the genres that really defined my childhood, Christian rock, and its evolution as a genre and where it stands today. If you're new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I do album reviews, topic videos, lo-fi edits, reactions, and more, so if you like what you hear, please consider subscribing and turning on post notifications. Also, please consider giving this video a like, and if there's any band or artist that I mentioned in this video today, comment below your favorite and what your favorite album from them may be, and I'll take a look and I might review it. Also, I've been way more active on Facebook and Instagram, so if you want to follow me there, for both it is at Travis Platt Reviews. Also, one more disclaimer, I am in no way trying to promote Christianity or disprove Christianity. My goal with this video is to be as objective as possible, talking about the genre Christian rock and the current state of the genre. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So, before we talk about the current state of the genre, first we have to talk about the history. The combination of Christianity and rock as we know it today actually started with the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley, when he released his gospel album, Peace in the Valley, in 1957. But the first Christian rock band that we know of is considered to be the Crusaders, a garage rock band from Southern California. Their 1966 album, Make a Joyful Noise, is considered to be the first gospel rock album.
Make a joyful noise unto the Lord,
Mind Garage, another founding Christian rock band, released music with RCA, a massive record label. Larry Norman, who is considered to be the father of Christian rock, released his debut album, Upon This Rock, in 1969, being considered by the masses as the first Jesus rock album. For clarification, Christian rock, gospel rock, and Jesus rock are considered to be about the same genre of music, give or take. They just weren't really sure what to call it at this time, so that's why it had a lot of different names. Norman's song, Why Should the Devil Have All the Good Music, is what introduced a lot of mainstream audiences of the combination of Christianity and rock music, something that was considered blasphemous before. Christian rock was considered a subgenre of CCM, or contemporary Christian music, during the 1970s and the 1980s, and success by bands like Petra and Resurrection Band led to a creation of a new scene, primarily being led by Stryper, a Christian metal band who had music played on MTV and all over the radio. But this was only the first step in Christian rock reaching the mainstream, which mainly happened in the 1990s and the 2000s. Newsboys, DC Talk, Third Day, Jars of Clay, and others launched a more alternative rock style compared to the hard rock and hair metal styles of previous bands. And this paved the way for the bands of the 2000s. But during the 80s and 90s, Christian rock got a lot of backlash from pop culture.
Can't you see you're not making Christianity better, you're just making rock and roll worse?
And Christians themselves.
I don't believe there's any such thing as Christian rock. And he tells a story about how he once went to a Christian rock concert, and he said as soon as the first strum on the guitar came, he said demons flooded the room.
This damaged the reputation of the genre from both sides, and that damage is still seen today. But despite this, Christian rock reached its peak cultural relevance in the 2000s. Skillet, who is considered the most popular Christian rock band of all time, released Comatose and Awake, their two most successful albums, in 2006 and 2009.
I must confess that I feel like a monster. I hate what I've become.
Comatose is certified platinum, and Awake is double platinum. The band has 3 top 10 Billboard albums under their belt: Awake, Rise, their 2013 album, and 2016's Unleashed. And their past 4 albums, The three that I mentioned, plus 2019's Victorious, were #1 on the Billboard Christian music charts. The band has had their music featured in the NFL, the WWE, MTV, and various other sports programs and movies. And as of recording, they have over 4 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone, making them one of the most popular rock bands of the 2000s. Foot Krutch's third studio album, Phenomenon, released in 2003, sold 200,000 units, making it one of Tooth and Nail Records' highest selling albums of all time. The band has had their music played for the NFL, the WWE, the NHL, NASCAR, and they have toured with massive bands, including Breaking Benjamin, and they were considered a mainstay of US rock festivals. And despite being on hiatus for the past 3 years, they still have over 2 million monthly listeners on Spotify alone. Red's debut album, End of Silence, is certified gold, and the band is considered a mainstay of the rock and metal world. Other bands such as Decyfer Down, Disciple, We As Human, and others have also had a lot of success in both the Christian and the secular scene. At the same time that these Christian rock bands were blowing up, Christian metalcore was also exploding. And during that second wave of metalcore, it seemed like every band coming out of the woodworks were Christian, and they all had radio success. Norma Jean's album, Oh God, The Aftermath, was nominated for a Grammy for Best Recording Package. As I lay dying, say what you want to say about the vocalist and all of the things that he's been through in his personal life, but we can't deny the success that the band has had. They were nominated for several Grammy Awards and were in the Billboard Top 10. Underoath is known as one of the most popular metalcore bands of the 2000s. The Devil Wears Prada's 2011 album Dead Throne charted at #10 on the Billboard 200. And in 2006, Revolver magazine named Christian metalcore the phenomenon of the year, and POD, He Is Legend, Demon Hunter, War of Ages, and others were mentioned. And the electronicore era, which was primarily led by Attack Attack, was very Christian-filled, and bands like Memphis May Fire, For Today, and others were huge in the late 2000s. Christian pop-punk was also very influential, and bands like Relient K, MXPX, and FM Static were big in the pop-punk world. And there seemed to be a Christian equivalent of nearly every subgenre of music, including thrash metal, death metal, deathcore, black metal, which Christian bands in that genre called themselves unblack metal. But in the 2010s, it seemed like Christian rock was really dying off. And why did that happen? There are many different things that may have contributed to the fall of Christian rock. The first, and possibly most visible one, is the decline in rock music in general. Rock music is no longer the most popular genre, and mainstream radio is playing it less and less. And all subgenres of rock for the most part are dying off in favor of pop, rap, and country, which are all thriving genres of music right now. Another huge reason that Christian rock is taking a dive in popularity is that radio stations, where Christians primarily listen to music, are no longer playing rock artists in favor of CCM or worship. So these Christian rock bands have no exclusive home for casual listeners other than streaming services. Another big point is that many bands have abandoned their belief. Underoath are now very openly against Christianity.
If I was still a Christian, I'd probably be dead.
Yeah. And I just think it's really unhumane, and I don't think religion should be in music. I don't really care what Maynard believes in. I think his music's great.
The vocalist of Hawk Nelson stated he no longer believes in God. And other bands have also dropped their Christian label, like Bless the Fall, Gideon, MXPX, and more. Another big reason is Christian rock in itself is a tough genre to be in. Being alienated by rock fans for being too preachy, and alienated by Christians for being too heavy or aggressive. It's hard to build a fan base when both sides you want to appeal to have pushed you away.
They show these same programs, the rock concerts, on television, and it's just like all hell was let loose. In fact, You may not like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway because I'm not afraid to speak out. I think that the music in hell for eternity be some of this rock music with all its vulgarities and all of its sexual innuendos.
You know, there's something about when you go to a concert of death metal, somebody might get killed. Right. You know, you're worshiping death.
But what they don't realize is Christian rock still exists, and it's full of so many amazing bands. Christian rock has been a genre for over 50 years, and in my opinion, right now the genre has more talent than it's ever had. And that isn't to discredit the bands of the past, there's just so much good music coming out of the scene right now. Red's newest album, Declaration, which came out in April of this year, is the band's heaviest album in nearly a decade, and it has a large amount of influences from hard rock to metalcore, and it's truly a return to form for the band. Disciple has released arguably their best work in the 2010s, especially 2014's Attack and 2016's Long Live the Rebels. Having an extremely clean production and a great amount of versatility in the songwriting department, Josiah Prince has contributed so much to their song structure, as well as contributing backing vocals. The band has tightened their sound tenfold, and despite Scars Remain still being my personal favorite album by them, by nostalgia alone, the band has truly evolved from a somewhat generic nu metal band to the Christian rock titans we know today. Also, their live show is one of the best that I've ever seen, so whenever concerts come back, I highly recommend that you get a chance to see them live. Spoken's 2013 album Illusion is one of my favorite metalcore albums of all time, and the shift the band has had from a rock band to a metalcore band, but also not being afraid to experiment with electronics and ballads, creates a nice mix of sounds, and the new songs they have released this year have been excellent. The Protest, who formed in 2009, have released 3 albums. The hard rock debut Game Changer has a lot of headbang-worthy moments of aggression. Their sophomore album, Great Lengths, released in 2014, experiments with prog rock, and the band has explored many new sounds on their third album, Legacy, which was released in 2018, including radio rock, pop rock, and metalcore, creating an album with something for everyone. Set for the Fall is an up-and-coming band that released their 2018 sophomore album, Still Just Breathing, which is a nostalgic feeling to 2000s hard rock, but still having influences in metalcore. Speaking of, Christian metalcore is also making a comeback, with bands like Wage War and Fit for a King leading a third wave of the genre, and other bands on the rise are Wolves at the Gate, Amongst the Giants, Convictions, and The Persuaded, who released one of my favorite albums of last year. Christian rock veteran Joseph Rojas has also created Rockfest Records, named after the annual tour that Christian rock bands of all kinds go on together. And the label is a place for up-and-coming Christian rock bands to have a platform to release their music. Despite Christian rock as a genre declining in numbers, these bands still exist, and their passion for the listener has created friendships that will last a lifetime. And I have met some great friends through the Christian rock scene, band members and fans. It gives a feeling to the local music scene before the internet age, where you could go to a show and see a local band with the same people that are always there, and you developed a sense of closeness and connection to your local scene, because it felt exclusive, and that's sort of how I feel about the Christian rock scene. It's not that I don't want this scene to become popular again. I would love for these bands to succeed and see the world, and some of them are. Jared Bramlett, the drummer for The Protest, got to play a few shows with Skillet when they were direct support for Breaking Benjamin. Skillet, as of recording, currently have the theme song for WWE Monday Night Raw, despite my thoughts on the last 2 Skillet albums, which, isn't very good. The band is making a name for themselves, and they're one of the most successful bands in all of rock music right now. Random Hero had the #1 Christian rock song for a very long time, And Josh Bertrand, the former guitarist of the band, actually composed the music for one of my films. Wage War and Fit for a King play in front of thousands of people each tour, and Christian festivals such as Uprise, Creation, and Alive have more focus on Christian rock than they have in over a decade. So now, more than ever, I feel like there will be a Christian rock revival very soon, and the connection and support from the fans will be stronger than ever. Thanks for watching.